Welcome to another episode of Core Discussions. I'm Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
Vitamin J.
Today we're going back to our top 10s, and we are going to be doing top 10 action movies. There are going to be some movies that were kind of like on the bubble, but we kind of left out because we felt they sit more in another category. So like Star Wars, I know some people consider it action. We actually consider it more sci-fi, so that movie's out. Or another one that we did not do is like the Bond series. I feel there's more spy kind of movies than really like they are actors, but they're more spy. So and the major one is going to be superheroes, because that is also like that the whole comic book world is its own category. Like comic book heroes, that's kind of its own category. We'll probably do top 10 sci-fi. We will do top 10 superhero or movies as well. So in time we will get to it, but we wanted to specify. Right now, these are going to be like usual. We're doing our favorite. So, gentlemen, are we ready?
You know it.
Okay, we had a total of 13 make it on the list because we had a four-way tie at 10th place. This one came in with 7 points. This is one of the 10th places. It was voted on just by Vitamin J. It came out in 1987. Nice little twist on what would happen in the city of Detroit when evil takes over and a corporation makes an ultimate cop. It is RoboCop.
Man, that's insane that I'm the only person, but that's fine. That's fine.
Bro, I haven't seen RoboCop in so long. I don't know.
I rewatched it like 2 years ago, and it was awesome. I was like, I want to watch. I probably should watch RoboCop 2 or something. And I decided against it because I think the consensus is that only the first one's good. So I wanted to, keep that memory alive. No, but it's awesome. It's like a peak 80s movie,
Peter Weller has a good voice for it.
Has a good voice. He has good one-liners. A lot of stuff it did, it has been parodied over and over again. So it's still culturally popular.
And he saved Sting in WCW.
Yes, he did. And it's just over the top, especially even Peter Weller's death when he's a cop. It's just so...
Yeah, they messed him up real bad. They kept shooting him long after this man's done for. You know it.
It was overkill on the kill. I mean, it was but how many bullets you want to shoot him with? All of them.
It was simply absurd.
I believe the judge said he also based the story off the allegory of Jesus Christ. Even at one point, you see RoboCop walk on water.
Wow.
No, but definitely give it a watch. The drug factory raid scene is really good. It's one of the first when he's fully RoboCop, so it's really good. I really wish they would remake this competently, because obviously they did remake it and it was awful.
I don't know. I heard that remake was a master class.
Bro, okay, so I'll just give a few gripes. They kept taking his helmet off, which is kind of like what they did with Sylvester Stallone and Dredd, or in Judge Dredd. Was just because we're paying this actor, so we want to see his face. But in RoboCop, the original, once it's on, it was off until I think the very end it came off. And then he doesn't wear gloves. He wears hands.
Yeah, he has his hands. It looks terrible.
And I'm sure Max might include a picture when he does the video of how bad it looked.
We're going to go into our next movie. This one was voted on by 3 people. This movie came out in 2008, and it came in with 7 points as well. It was Max's number 7, Mountain's number 9, and D3's number 10. It is Rambo.
This is not a movie for plot. It's just a movie for, just body count.
I almost put this movie in, but I had to cut it out.
This is purely a body count movie.
This movie exceeded my expectations when the first time I watched it. I was like, that was fantastic.
I was expecting it to be bad.
Yeah, so was I. And of course, it does have one of the coolest kills in movie history, I think.
Yeah, Rambo ripping the jugular out.
Philip, I suggest we do a top 10 death or kill scenes, and then so we can talk about that later.
Yeah, spoiler, that'll be on there.
And I would say this movie did have one shocking moment. It was when the bad guys throw the kids into the fire. I'm like, oh.
I mean, it is pretty realistic in how they portray that aspect of it.
When Rambo's on the Gatling gun.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
Well, how the action starts at the end, I remember we all watched this together, and it was like, boom, like none of us were expecting it, and boom, it's just 30 minutes. It's all you need.
Yeah, they set you up a little bit slowly in that movie. No action till about 20, 25 minutes in, and then it doesn't stop. Honestly, it might even be my second favorite Rainbow movie.
Yeah, I also hadn't watched many of them.
Yeah, they get progressively. It goes first, second, third. The third one is not very good at all.
Yeah, well, just because, like, I remember, I think we just watched it that day because we were just trying to find something to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, oh, I guess we'll watch this, and it exceeded my expectations because I did not expect it to be, like, that good. So, at that time, Stallone was on a downward, like, his movies weren't really great. I remember when the last Rocky Balboa came out, which was all right, but I think that was his, like, it was kind of questionable of his career at that point because it really was on a downward. He still wasn't like that 90s icon that we all remembered.
This really helped put him back on the map.
On to our next movie. It was voted on by two people. It was The Mountain and Vitamin J. This was actually a remake of a movie that the last guy did that wasn't taken too well. This did have a 79% tomato meter and a 72% audience score. Came out in 2012. It is the action movie Dread.
Man,
The fact that this doesn't have a sequel yet
yeah,
is
that's kind of BS. And
absurd.
then Carl mentioned he wanted to do a TV show, and he couldn't get help doing that either.
it should have been made.
Yeah, Carver
It's not good.
wants to. He said he'll do it in a heartbeat.
Urban plays the best Dread. So much better than Sylvester Stallone's.
How dare you?
Like, they actually follow the comic.
You never see his face.
Never see his face. The kills are amazing.
He grunts a lot.
Grunts and snarls, so you get your fill of that.
Yeah,
his
brownie
one-liners, his one-liners are great.
10 seconds to comply.
Fuck you, Judge.
You got 5.
Thanks for the heads up.
And then he, like,
But-
legit, like, pistol at a dude's throat and dents it. Ugh, insane.
But guys, there was no Rob Schneider in this one.
Yeah, thank God.
I don't think you realize that's addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
But it's basically like an American version of The Raid, so if anybody's seen that.
You know what's crazy is both of those are like similar concepts, but I think Dread's filmed before The Raid. A lot of people accuse Dread of copying The Raid because The Raid was released first, but Dread filmed first, so that's where it gets.
And honestly, you can make things do things at the same time. Aren't copying each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like the Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
man
yeah.
both came out the same week in the U.S. and U.K. and they had no idea.
But I also really like the effects of the drugs they take in that
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
That was really good.
They take slow mo. Yeah.
Slow-mo.
Yeah. It's probably one of the best I've seen. Well, I was gonna say in the last decade, but it's more than 10 years old.
More.
It came out like what,
2012.
2012.
Mhm.
Dang. God, we got-
Dang, it's over a decade
Mm-hmm.
old now.
Mm.
Ah, we're getting old.
Yeah, I'm aware.
But anywho, yeah, Dread was great.
We're going to go to our last one that's in 10th place. This is actually the third installation of this series. It also comes in with 7 points. It was voted on by myself and D3. This is Bourne Ultimatum.
I didn't even think about putting the board movies in
no,
much.
this
be honest with you.
was on the chopping block.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this is the only one I did consider more of an action film than like an espionage film.
Oh, the last one for sure. Yeah.
I mean, he beat him in it with a book.
Yeah, the other two was like more espionage. This one was pretty actiony. I mean, this series just has been good, except for like the very last one that came out. And I heard Bourne Legacy would have been better if it probably didn't have Bourne connected to it.
Yeah,
More people
I
would
would
have
agree with
enjoyed
that.
it.
I agree with that.
I think just having them and not having Matt Damon in it, it just made it weird. I really enjoyed this one. I think I took forever to get into the Jason Bourne series. It wasn't until like I think a couple months before Ultimatum came out that I actually started watching that. I watched the other two. I think this one, like just how it culminates, all the action, fighting scenes, I think were really good. And I mean, Matt Damon's Jason Bourne. Always going to be like it's
Yeah.
going to be a win right there.
Yeah, my pretty much my only complaint about this is that it popularized the shaky cam fight.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which it did well in this movie, but so many action movies afterwards did the same thing to much worse.
Well, it's just like that. I don't know if you saw that scene from Taken. It's either 2 or 3 where Liam Neeson jumps the fence and they do like 20 cuts. Like that was not neat.
Yeah, like the Bourne Ultimate really helped make that popular, and that's my only negative. It's not the film's fault though, but no, that fight scene where they jump through apartment windows and like being guitar at each other, so that was really good. And it actually had like a good story, so.
It also was kind of a pretty good ending to everything. I mean, granted, it did even leave the last part like, oh, they could do more if they wanted to, which is smart because it's Hollywood. You're going to try and milk every cow as long as you can.
Every penny.
I mean, no blaming. Point of a movie is to make money, but like even the ending they gave you was very satisfactory that you weren't like walking away like, wow, that was stupid, which was really easy to do, especially because you had this ongoing question of like, well, who is he? Who is Jason Bourne? And going into like finding out, like giving us something that all the audience was like, yeah, that was good. We're going to go into our number 9. It came in with 8 points. It was voted on only by The Mountain and Max. This movie, when there are hundreds of deaths, it is pretty incredible that this movie sustains its inventiveness and sheer bonkersness. This came in with a 86% audience score, 89% tomato meter score. This is a very popular new franchise, came out in 2019. It is John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum.
Dude, it's so good. I mean,
Parabellum, but that's okay.
yeah.
You haven't seen the movie, so what would you know?
I'm
The fact that you and Jacob have not seen any of these movies is mind-boggling to me.
I know, it is a tragedy.
Dude, they're the best action trilogy, about to be quad trilogy
I'm sorry. I'm tell you.
ever made.
At me.
But yeah, I do feel I'm fairly certain we'll talk about the other 2. But for me, it's the weakest one of the series. But I still think it's very good. It's still solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. Oh, no, we're being harsh critics here, because this thing's so automatically good. But it's cool. It's got Halle Berry in it, and she does a great job. She has 2 dogs. They do a lot of cool. They do a lot of cool combo moves with the dogs too. You know.
I won't be shocked if she gets like her own spinoff or something.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think she might be in the next one, the one coming out.
Yeah, sure she is.
I also like in this one they show kind of like in real life, not everything you do works. Like there's a point in the beginning when Wick is he's being chased by a group of people. Normally in movies he would get this thing to work and kill them immediately when they come in, but they're like throwing stuff at each other and missing.
They threw a knife at each other and got hit with the butt.
Yeah,
He's not perfect. Yeah. Well, and then this one also, spoiler alert, Lance Reddick kicks ass.
Yeah, he does.
Me still weak. So awesome.
And you get Ian McShane, whose voice is, I love his accent.
And is this the one where he has a surgeon operating on him, and the surgeon's like, you gotta shoot me.
Yeah, yes, yeah, in the beginning.
Then he's like, oh, one bullet's not enough. Shoot me again.
Yeah.
Third in the trilogy, but still top 10. I mean, the whole trilogy. If you haven't seen it, like Philip and Jacob, do yourself a favor. You're not. Look, you make time for John Wick.
I know somebody's gonna say that there's like 5 billion assassins in this world. No, just don't think about that.
Well, the whole world they built, I just love it so much. It's so ridiculous, but it's so awesome.
All right, that was good.
Yeah, just like those movies.
This one's probably controversial of if it's an action movie, but you know what? Screw it. I made it one. It was voted on by myself and D3. Came in with 11 points. It is actually like one of my favorite movies of all time, but probably top 10 favorite movies of all time. I did put it at 5th place. D3 put it at 6th place. But as an action movie, I did kind of rank it lower because, as a pure movie, it's amazing. But as an action movie, I ranked it a little bit lower. This is probably going to be the best acting movie. It did have an 87 audience score, 79% tomato meter score. It is the 2000 movie, also won Best Picture, Gladiator. Now,
I guess it's actually movie. I guess, yeah.
I was wavering between it, but I was like, you know what? I think it leans towards it.
Yeah, it's close, but I felt there was enough. Like, I felt this movie from, like, again, you can take this as a historical movie, but like even from the very beginning, starts you off with that huge battle where they're in the woods, fire all the arrows right into the woods to draw the enemy out, all the way to even all of the gladiator scenes, whether it's all the teamwork ones or even the ones when he's by himself. And I think this also has like one of the best speeches. It is not Independence Day speech, as good as that, but it's still very quality speech. All right, when he reveals who he is, he has those famous words that "I will have my vengeance in this life or the next," and you could see the fear in Phoenix's face when he says those lines. It was beautifully delivered.
I was gonna say, I know it's no surprise Joaquin Phoenix plays an absolutely despicable villain.
I was like, he's good at that. He's good at that. I was saying, someone told me they would get their revenge in this life for the next. That does sound a little scary.
Yep, the way he just says it, staring at him, I'm like, ooh, oh man. Even the honest trailers of this one brings up that speech, like.
And of course, you had to mention, "Are you not entertained?" I mean, that's one of those quoted lines in modern movies. Do not go into this with any historical fact. This is one of the most least accurate historical movies. In real life, Joaquin Phoenix character that actually was a good emperor in Rome. He didn't kill his father.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, they never touted it as being historically accurate, like some movies have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all around the cast is really good. This is Russell Crowe. This is prime Russell Crowe too. I think even now he's got some pretty good parts, but like this was really him prime because he did this. He also had the year after this is A Beautiful Mind, which he was amazing in as well.
He was on a tear.
Joaquin Phoenix was an excellent villain. His part he played, but I think just the whole thing about like the story of like, because we've seen it a lot of times of like betrayal happening. He was very powerful. His family gets killed, and then when he says to that guy like, "I'd rather, can you give me an honorable death?" and like he then like beats that dude up. He does it so that he could kill the guy and get out of it and escape, but in the end of the day, he still ends up in slavery. But still great movie, great story all around. All right, we're going to go into our number 7 movie. Voted on by myself, D3, and Vitamin J coming in with 16 points. This is the epitome of probably what of action movie. Great speeches, amazing fight scenes. Like the last movie, historically not accurate, but who cares? It came out in 2006, 61% tomato meter score, 89% audience score. This movie has been quoted so many times, especially going to the school that I went to. Our mascot was the Spartan. It is 300.
Definitely like top 2 of Zack Snyder films.
Yeah.
Not exactly a high bar. But...
What more do you want in an action? What more do you want?
Hunter, you got a bunch of men and their tight muscles, and this has so many quotes. And Hunter, look, this is the reason why every Marvel hero and Ben Affleck, they got their muscle moments in their movies. They saw this like, all right, guys, if I get these gains, I need to show it off. I'm gonna do some unnecessary stuff to really show off the muscles.
The peak one is Chris Evans holding the helicopter. That was just for the.
That
was 100%. Yeah. 100%. It's like we get it.
I say this movie really helped propel Gerard Butler to the status he was at. He was very highly up there for a while.
Now he will just.
Now he's settled back down.
He will do anything.
And guys, this had Michael Fassbender in it, which shocks a lot of people.
Another thing is this movie is like ridiculous to the max level with all the. You got some people that have this big, huge hunchback. The villain in the movie is like so tall and like so.
Yeah, it's like a 7-foot.
Xerxes,
yeah. Where they took Xerxes too, it's like what?
And the amount of arrows that rain down on them.
He did say our arrows will block out the sun.
But they will fight in the shade, man. They will. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that
This-
was a badass line.
That
That's-
guy,
that's-
Whoever-
the guy
that's
who
a-
told that to was probably like, dang, that was cool.
Actually, I do think that actually was a real life line. I do think that.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
it
like that's like
was.
shit you think.
Yeah.
That's like shit you think of in the shower after the fact. Damn, man, it would have been so cool if I had said this when he said that. Ooh.
And honestly, I was ready to fight somebody after this. Like, I was ready. If somebody messed with me, I was ready to fight. I was pumped, man. Who wants to mess with me? Let's go. Let's go. Also,
Yeah,
the writers-
anybody can catch these hands.
Any single person.
Rated E for everybody. Let's go.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Equal rights and equal left, baby.
It was over the top, but it worked for this movie. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It was awesome. All right, our next movie we're going to come into came in with 20 points, was voted on by 3 people, The Mountain, Max, and D3. It came with an 89% Rotten Tomato score, 85% critic score. This one is a sequel to a movie we just recently talked about. This is John Wick Chapter 2, came out in 2017.
Come on, that's my favorite one. It's the best one.
All good.
I absolutely love there's a scene where John Wick has to get more like weapons, and so he sees like weapons sommelier, and they treat it like he's like a wine sommelier. It's absolutely hilarious.
I'd like it tasting something robust, precise.
AR-15.
Could you recommend anything for the end of the night? Something big, bold, dessert.
Dessert. The finest cutlery.
I just love that. And for dessert. So funny.
So good.
Do you have anything? What was it? Do you have anything more robust?
Yeah. That's when he gets like the bulletproof suit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really cool. And then even the whole scene with Common, yeah, even that scene where like they're in the train station or whatever, and he's trying to
Really?
like secret, yeah.
Like being
So-
like being children.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was really good.
And yes, we know silencers are not that silent, but in this world
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, well, then he's even got the crummy villain where he goes into the what's the hotel called again?
Was it Continental?
The Continental. Yeah, he goes in Continental knowing that John Wick can't go in there and kill him, and he's like, "I'm gonna stay here forever." And then and of course that's like the whole third movie.
Yeah, again, another action-packed movie.
Yes.
It reunited Morpheus and Neo. Again, Jacob and Phil. It's just like it's criminal at this rate. Y'all have not seen
It
any
really
of it.
is.
Oh,
If we talk about the first one, we're just going to say it again. How despicable it is.
And then this one, I do believe we get to see him kill someone with a pencil.
Yep.
I mean,
And
Joker-
still,
Yeah.
Joker did the same thing years ago.
We've seen
Yeah.
this.
No, that was
Well,
a
I will
magic
say-
trick, Phil. That's
I will
different.
say that the third one does have him killing Boban, so that's a win.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did kill Boba in the third one.
Is this the one with Ruby Rose? Or what's her name?
Yeah, Ruby Rose. Yeah.
I don't necessarily like her acting, but they kept her silent, so that was a win.
She was hamming up her facial expressions on the movie so bad.
It was. But
Okay.
we're going to be talking about this franchise again, I assume.
We might not.